Alright, another tool review. This is Harbor Freight Drillmaster. Now this is similar to your Dremel tools, your Rotary tools, used for working on small stuff. If you're in some of the gunsmithing world, you have let's say a goofed up gun from a third or fourth party manufacturer, or something really old that needs to be unbuggered, you're probably going to end up using a tool similar to this. If you are working on carburetors, locks, small parts of things that you really can't afford to go get a new one, but you need to unbugger some machine parts or something that's worn, this is a tool you're going to use for that sort of a thing. It's also used in jewelry repair or modification, let's say changing the size or repairing a piece of jewelry or something like that. And fine cleaning and repair work on antiques, antique toys, stuff like that. This is a low end, but I'm going to show you some stuff that's kind of interesting for your mobile toolbox and your semi off-grid stuff. The entire kit is around $15, $18 at Harbor Freight, but they frequently go on sale. It's not unusual to be able to find this anywhere from $8 to $12. It's going to include a lot of little brushes, a lot of parts, a lot of little bits and kits. And what's going to happen is that you're going to wear through some of that stuff. And the best deal for getting more is to buy an entire kit. It's one of the little ways they get you. But when that happens, it's not unusual to end up with a half dozen of these little drill motors, little speed motors, with the different tips on them. And you're not going to be changing the tips to go between operations on a project. You're just going to pick up another little motor kit. The other cool thing is that these naturally run on 12 volts. What you get is this little power adapter with a power cord thing that's a standard type of a plug. And I actually need some of those to run some of my other 12 volt stuff. So to have spares on those is a good thing. And then to do a little clipperoo on some of the cords, you can adapt this to run on a cigarette lighter cord by modifying, let's say, an old phone charger cord or something like that. So here's how things start to look unpacked. And with something this is really good for, with these different shaped stones. Now here's where you run into a little issue in the manufacturing process. Sometimes they are off-center to the middle of the shaft. I don't know if you can tell in the video. This one's off-center to the middle of the shaft, so it's not going to be usable. Occasionally you're going to get bad stuff in these kits, but that's a lot of stuff. Now, for example, I've got a Leatherman tool here where the serrated knife blade's kind of dull. What I can do is I can go through these and find a suitable round stone that fits the teeth on that serrated blade, and I can sharpen those. I can actually sharpen the serrated part of that. And that's one of the things that gives me an option with sharpening cutting blades, tools, grinder, grinding on a carbide or something like that. You'll get some of these little buffing bits that go on to a little bar buffing bit holder. These in and of themselves don't really polish a lot of stuff. What it is you'd have to get polishing compound or buffing compound, which is not included in this kit. So those will kind of go on the side and they're a consumable item. These things you buy replacements on a Dremel and it'll be a little bubble pack, and they're kind of expensive. So you're looking for these in bulk. But you'll get enough in this little kit to get started if you need them. These things are what's good for cleaning rust off of small parts, polishing stuff, rust, corrosion, anything off of small parts. Especially if you're trying to rebuild carburetors, then this would be the kit to use. And then you get a bunch of diamond burrs. These are mainly going to be for sharpening or dealing with metal. Sometimes you can deal with stuff on ceramic with those, that sort of a thing. But these basically have a little bit of diamond dust on the heads of these things. And my experience has been it wears off quickly, but the tool's so cheap, the value of the repair is such that quite often it's going to be worth your time to wear a few out. That's just how it's going to be. And they don't work so well on, let's say, sharpening steel with those. With sharpening metal, you're probably going to be using the ceramic stones. But certain softer materials that will work, or ceramic materials, but for some reason the diamond stuff doesn't really work all that great on steel. And then we have this little cutting holder in here. Golly, where did I put that thing? We've got, see, this is a little screw thing for the buffer wheels. Here it is. And then there's another screw that goes on top of that holds on to these little cutting discs. And you can actually do some precision cutting. Now, these things wear down pretty quickly in the process of working with them, working with metal and stuff like that. But you can cut pretty hard metals with those things. And that's pretty much the kit. Yeah, this is a little screw. We'll show how that goes in there. So this is the way the cutting disc sets up. You've got a ceramic cutting disc. You screw that onto the tip of that. Very brittle, very delicate, but when it's spinning at full speed, it can cut and shape metal, and fairly hard metal. So you would use this for, let's say, for precision type stuff or precision cutting, where a sawzall or a wide tool, just that's going to be too rough. And you could do precision fitting on stuff with this sort of a thing. When you're trying to get like small metal parts to work together, it will cut into plastic, harder plastics especially, and work with notching and fitting stuff to get, let's say, moving or functioning parts to work with each other when maybe they wouldn't normally fit the right way.